Good morning to Bromfields in the 35 corridor. I'm D. Lee Edwards here, the host of the Real Deal Real Estate Show, and today's special guest is Mary Jane and Wayne Wendell of the Wendell team. And we're going to discuss some Seguin commercial and residential market. But first, it's time for the New Braunfels Title Market Report. Today, we're looking at Guadalupe County, and things are still cooking. You got 685 homes sold in the last 90 days and 205 in the last 30. Now, the 30-day number is up from last year by 2%, so still up. Availability continues to rise with 1,188 homes countywide, with 23 under 200,000, 395 homes from 200 to 300,000. That's a really good number. And 481 from 300 to 400. That's even a bigger number. Now, there's only 151 from 400 to 500,000 and 148 over $500,000. So if you're in the low to mid market, Guadalupe County is your oyster. Now, the rental market took this big jump this month. It jumped to 248 homes available to rent. That is an all-time record for Guadalupe County. Mortgage rates improved, with 30-year dropping to, yes, 7.04%. I should have had drumsticks instead of a clap. But at any rate, a 15-year dropped to 6.48, and FHA dropped to 6.38, and VA to 6.38. Those are exceptional numbers. The bond market improved for interest rates, with 91-day T-bill at 5.25%, the 2-year Treasury yield at 4.584, and the 10-year was at 4.146. And if you take a look at that 4.146 and the 7% that we have on mortgage rates, that tells you why there's usually a 2.75 to 3% spread between the 10-year Treasury. Oil prices continue to decline, with West Texas Intermediate at $70.24 a barrel. Now, that's good news. It's a holiday pump, but not so good news for the oil companies. On the other hand, oil had a big kick this week as U.S. oil is becoming a superpower in export. So we are really starting to gang up a little bit on Saudi, OPEC, and Russia, and the Chinese to a bit. Let's just hope we can keep it going. Oh, and just to shore up their deal, OPEC invited Brazil, who's now joined OPEC, and Russia and the Saudis are meeting this week to discuss production guidelines. Wow. Our power grows independently, but as a world figure with OPEC, we just don't know who our friends are over in the Middle East. Oh, good news. If we can keep this production number up and the exports going, it'll reduce our trade deficit. But we're still headed back up because we're buying all those little goodies out of China and Malaysia and so on for the holidays. Wall Street betting on a Fed interest rate drop. I don't think so. I think we won't know for a couple of weeks, but all of the news in the economy aren't enough to get a quarter drop. And with interest rates dropping because of the bond market, the Fed's under absolutely no pressure to adjust yet. First quarter of 2024 might be a different scenario. But hey, if they do drop it, that's good for all of us. Now, Biden, he just keeps doing things that you want to just choke him. Yep, 80,300 college students just got debt relief to the tune of $4.8 billion. Meanwhile, we have infrastructure and roads for transportation and issues that we have in infrastructure duress that could use $4.8 billion in road projects and water and sewer, and we get debt relief for college students. Oh, man, where was Biden when I had 2 kids in college? If you're looking for a used car, there's some good news down. Yep. Used car prices are down 2.1% last month and 5.8% for the year. and there are deals to be made on new cars. So, hey, you might be able to get a new car for Christmas. So, housing affordability will go down as 2023's worst year in 11 years. Second, housing sentiment is still low, and people are worried about it is a bad time to sell or buy. Well, folks, let me tell you, it's not true. Okay. Yes, it's a tough market. Yes, there's still some overpricing. Yes, there's some higher interest rates. But there are a number of properties that are coming down. Agents that have time and effort into the market and understanding are negotiating some better deals, and we're getting some buy downs on interest rate, and new builders are providing issue too. Look, buy now, get the best deal you can, because next year, if the interest rates go down, the price is going to go up. And if it goes down even more, the prices will go up again. Here's what you do. You buy now, and in 2 years, you refinance. And you'll win twice. Now, many Wall Street gurus say consumer spending, well, it's taken a lick, but not yet. Say, we're still spending pretty good for the holiday, but come January, well, that hangover from credit debt's going to get you. See, credit card rates have been rising, and the Wall Street Journal today showed that people are starting to look at those credit card values and starting to look for better deals on their credit card. You know, kind of like 20 years ago when people had 18%, you could find one at 10%, you would move over to that. Well, people are going to have to get back to it because interest rates on some of the cards are back up to 24%. You need to look at your credit report and your credit card statement to see what they're charging you. Because come January, when you have to pay for all those Christmas gigs, it could be tough. And oh, by the way, people have started using their credit cards. They got comfortable with it in a pandemic for food, fuel, and daily essentials when they used to use it for big ticket items. So, one helpful hint. If you're buying furniture or things like that, look and see if any store offers you 90 days, same as cash. Just saying. Now, good news on the home improvement front. Many are putting new dollars in their old homes and settling in, especially if their interest rate was 2 or 3%. That will make the market interesting through next year. But guess what? When they do decide to come back into the market, you're going to have some nice rehabilitated over homes. So, stock market was hoping this week to be good, and by gosh, it was. It was a hoppin' John. That's right. 36,114 was the Dow. NASDAQ hit 14,332, and the S&P was up to 4585. That is 3 weeks in a row that we've had up numbers in the stock market. So, home sales nearby are up. Prices are leveling out. Still room for negotiation. Inventory strong. Mortgage rates down. Opportunities are showing up here and there. Bond market still good for cash. Gold wins big this week. It's up over anything it's seen in the last 3 years. Oil down, which is good at the pump. Stocks up. And overall, it was a fairly good week. So finish your holiday shopping. Happy Hanukkah for those that you celebrated. And for the rest of our listeners, take that cheap gas and go look at every Christmas light in your neighborhoods and see how wonderful your community looks all lit up. And that, my folks, is the real deal for December 9th, 2023. Now, don't go away. We'll be right back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show with our special guest, Mary Jane. And we're back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show, and our special guest today is Mary Jane Wendell, a residential specialist with the Wendell team in Seguin, and her husband, Wayne Wendell, who's a commercial specialist. Good morning, guys.
Hi, Lee.
Hey, glad to have you. And as a reminder to our listeners, this segment is brought to you by Meyer Heating and Air Conditioning, keeping you comfortable all year long. So we just had the market report. Things are looking pretty good in Guadalupe County. Mary Jane, how is the residential market looking for you in Seguin area that you really work?
Well, it's been great lately to see that the inventory has gone up. We have more homes available to show. the prices have come down a bit. The mortgage rates have been helpful because they've come down also. So it just seems like there's more to offer buyers in the especially in the smaller price ranges, first time home buyer, smaller homes, and the
Now,
new builds are great as well.
do you see a good inventory not only in new construction but in, say, some older housing in Seguin and so on?
Yes, the downtown area has just in the last 2 weeks. I've noticed some really neat older homes have come up on the market. Some of them need to be rehabilitated, and some of them have been already. So it's nice to have those to offer as well.
A lot of development's been going on in Seguin between Navarro and Seguin, and things are changing over there. Do you see some areas of Seguin that look real promising for maybe a place to locate, or maybe there's new schools going to be built there?
Yes, absolutely. We've got 2 school districts within our county. There's Navarro and Seguin ISD, and there are new schools. They have accommodated the growth in the older buildings. They've added more. They've rebuilt a couple of campuses in the Seguin area. Navarro's getting a new high school built as we speak, and Seguin's was completed about 3 years ago, I think. An incredible performing arts center there, and people are moving to our area to get away from Houston, Austin, the bigger cities. They want to be in the quiet, quaint town of Seguin now.
So, Wayne, how's commercial looking?
You know, it really started getting some pretty good momentum. Over the last 18 months, we've had 10 sizable retail companies come into the area, including Boot Barn, Marshalls, TJ Maxx, Bell's, Tuesday Morning, Fantastic Sam's, Discount Tires, and I think there's a couple others that I just don't remember off the top of my head.
And a couple of really good barbecue joints.
And a couple of really good barbecue joints. That's correct. So we got Schultz is one, and what's the other one? Do you remember it?
Burnt Bean.
Burnt Bean.
Number
Been there a
5 in
couple
the
of years.
state of Texas with a
That's
standing
right.
line across from the courthouse.
Exactly.
That's right. So
Around
we've
the
got some
corner.
great barbecue in Seguin now. But overall, the retail market's gotten some momentum. It's been a little slow for the smaller ma and pa type businesses. There's still a real opportunity in downtown Seguin. There's a number of buildings that are available for sale with income, and then some that are available for a new business to move into.
For speculation.
Yeah, exactly.
Or single tenant use or that kind of thing.
Right. And we have a variety of sizes, and for the most part, they're a little bit better than shell buildings. They've been through many generations of different businesses, and usually they have all the power to the space, and some of them have lighting, but they are definitely a good value right now to rent or buy.
Do you see Seguin as an opportunity to buy in the commercial side at a little bit lower rate and have plenty of upside similar to maybe the Bromfields 10 years ago?
I do. I think we're a lot like New Braunfels 10 years ago. We just need some new buyers and some new fresh investors to come in and realize that vision. The city has been very active in putting. They have several grants. There's a 360 grant. There's a facade grant, and there's also numerous grants you can get based on employees for manufacturing, etc.
Now, from a residential standpoint and commercial standpoint, do you see investment downtown where I could buy commercial, but put in residential on the second floor and get better rate structures?
Yes. So we've seen that there's on Court Street, Austin Street, and a little bit on River. I'm not sure of any other side streets, but those streets have they originally, some of them had the old opera houses in them, and they were converted into higher end apartments, and they have really flourishing retail on the bottom of them. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can think of right off the top of my head that are getting good residential rental rates on top and decent retail business rates on the bottom.
And we're back on the Real Deal Real Estate Show, and we're speaking with Wayne Wendell on commercial real estate in Seguin and Mary Jane Wendell about residential in Seguin. And this segment is brought to you by Bubba's Smoked Meats and Fancy Sauces. Yep, if it ain't smoking, it ain't Bubba's. All right, so Mary Jane, some of the things that you like most about Seguin is probably there's arts and theater and quality of life, which also says, if you take a look, there's a lot of great Victorians and some historic homes that really could be interesting to folks.
Oh, absolutely. We have craftsman style also. We have some gorgeous mid-century homes as well. And what I've seen is young people coming in and buying them from possibly the original owner's family and renovating them. And it's just been a great thing to see. Sometimes they seem to run into not anything terrible as far as finding good help to get the work done, but we're collecting a really neat group of people who can offer the plumbing, the reconstruction, add-ons, electrical.
You just updated a historic home, right?
Yes, we sure did. Our little house is 100 years old, and we took a space that had originally been the kitchen in a little shotgun craftsman home on Elm Street, and we created a beautiful master suite bathroom with closet and 2 sinks.
Oh my gosh, closet in an old house.
And 2 sinks.
Wow, that in itself is worth $1 gazillion, you know.
It's a marriage saver to have 2 sinks, you know.
Yeah. So when we talk about commercial market in Seguin right now, what do they have aplenty and what is a little lacking that could be an investor's opportunity?
Well, we have lots of medical office available. GRMC has consolidated different medical practices into that, and there have been some doctors have consolidated into larger offices and left some small medical offices behind. There's a little bit of that downtown, a little bit out near the high school, and there's a little on 123. But we don't have much second generation move-in ready retail space, and we don't have that many inline strip shopping centers. That would be with all the new subdivisions coming online, there's some good locations where some strip centers would do really well.
8,000-9,000 square footers.
Exactly.
With 2 end caps.
Something that would accommodate users from 1,000 to 2,500. There's also a need for supplier size warehouse spaces, and by supplier size I mean a little bit larger than what we've seen in the small steel buildings, something in the 10,000 to 15,000 foot range. They would be able to relieve a lot of the pressure that's in the larger industrial markets around the area. I think there's only one space in the Seguin area that's 20,000 feet. It's closer to Schertz. So that we could use some warehousing. We could use some inline strip centers. I can't think of any big box retail that we're ready for. And we could always use a few more restaurants in the downtown area and some more downtown living. There's a good demand for that.
Well, after a conversation with your mayor, the one thing that she would say would be the pinnacle of her career was you finding a way to get her a Chick-fil-A.
It's true. She loves it.
That seems to be true of a lot of people in Seguin. There was actually talk of one going up near 123 a while back. I'm not sure why it didn't work. But they did come to town and look and shopped a few different spots.
Trying to find an interstate location and residential nearby is really, they got to have the heads in beds and people looking for dead hen beds, you
That's
know,
right.
and so. But I can tell you this, IHOP over there, if it was any busier on a weekend, man, I mean, you got standing room only for a hot cake, so.
It's
Yep,
true.
that's
Maybe
true.
a Cracker Barrel. That's what you need is a Cracker Barrel.
That would go. That would go.
I would
that
like
do
that.
well.
So, Mary Jane, if you've got somebody looking for skiing and they're in the say 200,000 to 400,000 range, do you have some quality things that you think are out there, both new but in the older section, which you like?
Absolutely. We've got probably more in the newer, in the newer builds, but you know the builders are building some beautiful homes,
Yeah.
and I haven't always.
Chesmar just opened a new subdivision
Yes.
on 46.
It's very impressive.
Which is a higher end product than Seguin's had prior.
It's very impressive. It's refreshing too to see. There's some homes in that price range that are probably you're looking to get in. Maybe they were built in the 50s and later, and they're renovated. And then there's some in the next door maybe that isn't. So you could get a newer feel in an older home, or buy the old home and renovate it.
Is there anywhere that you could say at Seguin right now, which is that there's a door of opportunity for affordability wise, as like an urban redevelopment area? Said, look, if you could buy 2 or 3 houses by the university, or something over by AZT, or
Yes.
whatever, where the neighborhoods had been dilapidated or what, but if you could go in now, because some of the houses are classic, a lot of them craftsman or mid-century, are there any places like that where investors might make a deal or two?
I've seen just a couple in the last week pop up that I would put in that category. They are few and far between. And when we first moved to Seguin, it's been 10 years since we came from El Paso, the desert Southwest, and it seemed like there were so many more in that category, and they cost half of what they do now. So as far as getting into something with a price point that you could then justify investing that much more again, probably twice as much as you paid at that time,
Right.
they're harder to find now. They cost a lot more.
All right. So, Wayne, 1 or 2 items you think are a really good buy right now in either commercial or industrial?
There's several good buys in downtown Seguin. They're, of course, historic building. They're eligible for facade grants. They're on high traffic, high visibility areas. They're near the courthouse. They're near the city hall. They get lots of walk traffic, and they have other businesses around them that are big draws.
Some you've got to set on River Street that have parking, right?
Correct. That's
Which is
absolutely right.
rare downtown.
Anywhere.
I'd buy the buildings for the parking and just burn the building down and keep the parking. And I was and then charge everybody $20 a day for the parking space. But there are opportunities like that coming, right?
Yes, and the city is very pro helping the downtown be preserved and be active and vibrant. There are a number of activities every month that the city is behind and sponsors, and they draw big crowds. I don't know what the numbers are, but you could go down there and look
Several
on the
thousand
city.
people.
Yeah.
Easily.
Mary Jane, do you have a listing or two you think are the cat's meow?
I have one that I had this summer, and she chose to take it off the market to redo her bathroom in Keller Heights. Wonderful old neighborhood of they're just wonderful houses and wonderful people that live in there. And she's going to redo that master bathroom, and we're going to get it back on the market hopefully in January. And that
Kind of what price range?
mid threes,
Good.
mid threes, and it's got three bedrooms, 2 baths, and she did a lot of really good work to it. She did all the not fun things as well as fun things to it. The HVAC, all new ductwork, moved the laundry room from the garage to the inside of the house.
Sewer line.
Things like that, new sewer. She really put a lot into it, and it's gorgeous. And then I've got a really big old listing that's a little south of Seguin in Falls City, and it's 15 acres with a gorgeous home and a pool, and the biggest workshop and heated, cooled dog kennels I could ever have imagined in my life. And it's a lovely spot.
Great for a breeder.
Absolutely. And they could be modified for larger animals.
Ah, and good. And the house is how big?
2,300 square feet.
And you're at what?
1.25 million.
Yeah. And based upon what I've seen about it, it's a pretty good deal.
It's a good deal.
Yeah.
It truly is, and it's set back from the highway.
Okay. So we're out of time. How can folks get a hold of the Wendell team? And we'll start with you, Mary Jane. How can they get you?
Well, I have my area code still from El Paso, but that doesn't matter anymore. I'm 915-373-3836 and mjewendell@gmail.com, or call the office of D. Lee Edwards Realty, who, by the way, was named Broker of the Year yesterday by the Four Rivers Association of Realtors, and we're very proud of you.
Very.
Thank you. That and $10 will get me a Starbucks. And a little one at that. Hey, Wayne, and what about you, buddy?
I also have the 915 area code, 915-203-6361. And my email is wwindle88@gmail.com.
Let me tell you, listeners, if you're looking for investments in Seguin, whether residential or commercial, they've got great experience. They've been involved with the city. They know the arts area and a number of things that go on and been very supportive of that area. So when you look for a realtor in a community, you want somebody who's involved, who understands where it is and knows where you shouldn't go is even sometimes more important.
Yes.
And know where the alligators are, right? And so that's all the time we have for today. It's great for you listening. For next week on the Real Deal Real Estate Show, we're going to be talking with Shane Harrell of Craftmaster Homes. We're going to talk about